Hey there! Do you believe in life after pens, after pens, after pens, after pens? Sorry. I am sorry. Today we're going to be talking about a pen that was lent to me by my main man, Murray, and it is the Conway Stewart Belliver. I'm going to go with Belliver and not Believer. I'm thinking Belliver. This is a Conway Stewart. This is an original Conway Stewart, and Conway Stewart used to make really nice pens. I'm not saying they don't anymore, but then they went under, then it became British Bespoke pens, then it's Conway Stewart again. But Conway Stewart, nice pens, nice materials, good eye for detail. And this is an interesting pen because it is a bit smaller. A lot of their pens are really quite large. It's very comfortable. So I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Okay, let's have a talk about this Conway Stewart Belliver. Sorry, I had to take a sip of tea there. So this pen was launched in 2011. Belliver is actually a location of the Conway Stewart factory on the outskirts of Plymouth. I was in Plymouth a long time ago. What an amazingly fun fact. Now, it does have a brass barrel liner. It's supposedly kind of like a perfect pen. I don't think that's their terminology, but I'm just using that. Like it's meant to be a size that fits a lot of people comfortably. This is the pen next to a Pilot Metropolitan, so you can see it's not a huge pen. And when I saw that, I thought that looks kind of small. But the fun thing is I do actually have found it to be very comfortable. So it's interesting that I do think it is a size that works for a lot of people. And that's quite interesting. The price is $644, and that's it. US, by the way. Sorry, I don't have the box. Usually Conway Stewart boxes are quite nice, but I just borrowed it from Murray, right? So I don't know what the box looks like. Okay, nice materials. I couldn't find this particular material on the Conway Stewart website right now, but I'm sure that it exists. It clearly has been made at some point. Let's cover the parts of the pen. So on top, the finial, it's kind of nice. It's beveled, so that looks quite good. Then we have the Conway Stewart logo, CS, on this clip with the little diamond shape, which I've always thought was quite charming. We have a center band, which has several hallmarks on it, including 750. So I wonder if this is vermeil then, so that would be gold over silver. And here near the end we have another little gold colored ring. Like I said, it's not a huge pen, but I do really like this material. I think it's quite charming. There is an engraving here. It says Conway Stewart Belliver. It says number 378/070. They do number their pens, and it does say made in England. The end cap there is beveled in the same way the regular cap is. Okay, we have some threads, another metal band, and then we have a section that tapers down a little bit and then flares out again. We have here Conway Stewart on the nib. Nice number 6 nib, which is quite cool for I don't want to say a smaller pen, but I mean, they could have picked a number 5 nib for this. I think it's very nice to have a number 6 nib on it. The Conway Stewart logo, it says Conway Stewart, it says 18 CT, 18 karat gold, and it says IF, which is quite interesting. An italic fine nib, so that should give us some interesting line variation. There is the plastic feed. This looks like a Bock style feed. And then we have the filling system, which is cartridge-converter. Again, a brass lined barrel, which makes for a nice bit of heft. And what everyone's going to ask me is, does it post? Well, this is the pen unposted. It's actually a pretty comfortable size. Even for larger hands, I find this very comfortable. But you can post the pen, and securely so. And then you have something that's a really nice size that I think would work for a lot of people. Now, as to the writing, let me grab some paper and let's get started. I'm using it currently, oops, sorry, it's slowly running a little dry, but I think we can manage the review. Here we have the Conway Stewart Belliver. We have an italic fine nib in 18K, and I don't know what the ink is because I got it as is from Murray. Writing is pleasant, and the first thing I notice, I mean, I have used it before, but I mean, I'm talking, anyway, doesn't matter, is that the edges are not so sharp that they cut into the paper end. So that's quite nice. Having said that, it does offer quite a bit of line variation. Let's first, before we get into that, do some fast writing, which is a little bit heavy with the pen posted because the cap does add some weight to the back. But there we have it. Wetness, definitely a wet writer. And the italic does offer a nice bit of natural line variation. Notice the wider downstroke and the finer side stroke without any pressure. Quite nice, and I do really think this is a very, very pleasant writer. It's very smooth, so I do really like that. Reverse writing, for those of you who enjoy such a thing. I can tell you right now, usually with italic nibs, turning a nib upside down is not that successful. Here it works. There's definitely increased crispness. I can feel the actual corners kind of grabbing into the paper, a little bit more digging in there, but I guess it's possible. If you really want to do this, I wouldn't get an italic nib, I would get a regular round nib. It's a fun nib, and again, really pleasant, really smooth, and I think that does make for a very pleasant writing experience. I also will say again, size, very comfortable, even for larger hands. Don't let the maybe visually smaller size delude you in that regard. Very comfortable. And I will say I like this material a lot. It's very nice and it looks quite warm. Speaking of that, why don't we talk about likes and dislikes? What do I like and what do I not like about the Conway Stewart Belliver? Well, whenever I read something like, this pen is designed to be optimal for most people and very comfortable and everybody can use this, it's not exactly what they said, but you get the point. My first thought is always, okay, well, let me be the judge of that. All right, I'll see if I find this a comfortable pen. I looked at this and I thought, that looks a little small. But actually is really comfortable. Brass liner, just a bit of weight, really comfortable, nice size, section that's big enough, nice number 6 nib. I really like it. Comfortable pen, fun to use. I have nothing against this. I find this a really, really comfortable pen, and I think that claim was fair. You're dealing with sort of like an M800 approximately size pen. Approximately the pen itself, I mean, the cap is a little shorter, but works for a lot of people. So that is really nice. Also a very pleasant writer. Conway Stewart nibs can be really, really pleasant, really fun. This is a good example of that. Really pleasant, nice nib to use. I really, really like it. Also like that they went for a number 6 nib because I think it looks good. I think number 5, maybe it looks like a slightly skinnier pen. I think number 5 would have looked too small. I think this was a good proportion. Things I don't like so much. These threads are a little sharp, I must say, and because the section is not the longest in the world, I do feel those threads a little bit, especially my middle finger that's kind of curled up underneath everything. It's not a huge deal, but I do feel it a little bit. Final thing I will say is these pens are expensive, $644 US. Yes, you do get a gold nib available in multiple grades, extra fine, medium, broad, etc. So that's really nice. But at the end of the day, it is a cartridge converter filled pen, and I find it expensive. Then again, given how comfortable it is and how pleasant a writer it is, I'm not sure if I really object to the price. I'm just saying this is not a super affordable pen. If that's okay with you and you can handle that and you want to spend that amount of money, I think you could do a lot worse than purchasing this pen because it is, as I said, very, very comfortable. I will say that. So there we have it. I hope this was useful. A very kind thank you to Murray for lending me this pen. That's all let's do it. I'll gladly see you again next time for another pen review. Bye.